The Galactic Military Academy on Nexus Prime had seen many species pass through its halls. The towering Krillian shock troops with their chitinous armor, the lightning-fast Viridian assassins, the psychic Zephyrians who could bend reality with their minds. But never had they seen anything quite like the human cadets. Zainab sat in the back corner of combat theory class, her dark eyes fixed on her datapad while the instructor droned on about advanced battle formations. Around her, the other species whispered and snickered. To them, she was just another weak human, small, quiet, unremarkable. The fact that she rarely spoke only reinforced their assumptions about her species' supposed inferiority. "Look at the little human," hissed Vextar, a massive Krillian whose exoskeleton gleamed purple under the classroom lights. "Still taking notes like this is some academy for younglings." His companion, a sleek Viridian named Ziska, flicked her forked tongue in amusement. "I heard humans can't even survive a single hit from a plasma rifle. Their bones are hollow, like bird creatures." Alex, seated 3 rows ahead, clenched his fist but said nothing. He'd learned that defending Zainab only made things worse for both of them. The other humans in their class had already been transferred out after training accidents, convenient excuses for the systematic harassment they faced. Instructor Mortis, a battle-scarred Zephyrian veteran, noticed the whispers, but did nothing to stop them. In his mind, if the humans couldn't handle a few words, they'd never survive real combat. "Tomorrow we begin live combat exercises," Mortis announced, his 3 eyes scanning the classroom. "You'll be divided into squads of 5. The exercise will continue until only one squad remains standing." Zainab's fingers tightened around her stylus. She'd watched 17 of her fellow humans get eliminated from the program over the past 6 months. Each time the Academy claimed it was due to their inability to keep up with galactic military standards. Each time she'd stayed silent, observed and learned. That evening in the dormitories, the harassment reached a new level. Vexitar cornered Zainab near the water reclamation units, his squad of Apex warriors flanking her. "Tomorrow, human, you'll learn what real warriors can do. Try not to die too quickly, we want to savor it." Ziska slithered closer, her scaled face inches from Zainab's. "Your species is a joke. Soft skin, weak bones, no natural weapons. You don't belong here among true predators." "Hey!" Alex stepped forward, but Thekmor, a hulking titanoid made of living rock, grabbed him with one massive hand. "The male wants to play hero," Thekmor rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "How pathetic." They shoved Alex against the wall and turned back to Zainab. For months, she'd endured this treatment. The accidental shoves in corridors, the contaminated food, rations, the sabotaged equipment during training. The Academy turned a blind eye to it all. But something in Zainab's expression made Vextar pause. Her dark eyes had gone completely flat, emotionless. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "You know what the difference is between humans and every other species in this galaxy?" The Apex warriors exchanged glances, confused by her calm tone. "We're the only ones who got to the top of our food chain without claws, without venom, without armor plating or psychic powers." Zainab stood slowly, and despite being barely half their size, something about her presence made them step back. "Do you know how we did that?" Silence, persistence, strategy, and an absolute refusal to know when we're beaten. The next morning's combat exercise began at dawn. The training ground was a massive holographic arena that could simulate any battlefield environment. Today's setting, a war-torn cityscape with multiple levels and countless hiding spots. 25 cadets entered, 5 squads of 5 each. Vextar's squad of Apex warriors was the obvious favorite. They dominated every previous exercise with brutal efficiency. Zainab and Alex found themselves paired with 3 remaining human cadets, Chen, Maria, and Dmitri. On paper, they were the weakest squad by far. "Remember," Zainab said quietly as they took their starting positions, "we don't need to be stronger or faster. We just need to be smarter." The exercise began with the sound of a klaxon. Immediately, The apex predator squads charged toward the center of the arena, seeking quick eliminations. Plasma fire lit up the artificial sky as Krillians, Viridians, Zephyrians, and Titanoids clashed in spectacular displays of power. Zainab's squad seemed to vanish. For the first hour, the humans appeared to be hiding, cowering in the outer edges of the arena. The other squads dismissed them entirely, focusing on eliminating each other in flashy displays of superiority. But Zainab wasn't hiding. She was hunting. While the apex warriors battled for dominance, she'd been quietly studying their patterns, their weaknesses, their overconfidence. Humans might not have natural armor or psychic powers, but they had something else. The ability to see systems, to find patterns, to exploit the smallest advantages. Chen, there's a Viridian sniper on level 7, East Tower, she whispered into her comm. He's been covering Vextar's advance for 20 minutes, same position every time. On it, came the reply. Maria, the Zephyrian squad leader, telegraphs his psychic attacks by 2.3 seconds. Watch for the eye glow. Copy that. One by one, Zainab began eliminating the galaxy's finest warriors, not through brute force, but through precision, timing, and an understanding of their psychology that they never saw coming. The Viridian sniper fell to a perfectly timed ricochet shot. The Zephyrian squad walked into a trap that turned their own psychic abilities against them. The Titanoids, for all their strength, couldn't adapt when the humans collapsed an entire section of building on top of them. By the final hour, only 2 squads remained, Vextar's apex warriors and the humans. Impossible, Vextar snarled into his comm. They're just humans. How are they? His words were cut off as Dmitri emerged from a ventilation shaft directly behind him, having crawled through spaces too small for any other species to navigate. When the dust settled, Zainab stood alone in the center of the arena, surrounded by the unconscious forms of warriors who had been deemed superior to humanity in every possible way. Instructor Mortis materialized in the arena, his 3 eyes wide with disbelief. How? He whispered. Zainab looked up at the observation deck where the Academy's senior staff watched in stunned silence. Her voice carried clearly through the arena's speakers. You wanted to know if humans belonged among the galaxy's warriors, she said, her tone still calm, still quiet. The answer isn't that we're like you. The answer is that we're nothing like you, and that's exactly what makes us dangerous. She paused, looking directly at each fallen opponent. You have claws. We have tools. You have armor. We have tactics. You have individual strength. We have collective intelligence. You fight like apex predators. Her voice hardened. We fight like humans. In the weeks that followed, the harassment stopped. The accidents ceased. The other species gave the human cadets a wide berth, no longer seeing weakness but recognizing something far more threatening. A species that had conquered their own world not through biological advantages, but through sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Alex found Zainab later that day in the observation lounge looking out at the stars. Feel better? He asked. Zainab's reflection smiled in the transparent aluminum. You know what the best part was? What? I never lost my temper, not once. Her smile widened. That wasn't rage they saw in there, that was just a human being patient. Outside the viewport, the galaxy stretched endlessly in all directions, vast, dangerous, and full of species that had just learned why humanity had earned its place among the stars. Not because they were the strongest, or the fastest, or the most naturally gifted, but because they were human, and humans never ever knew when to quit.